Yeah, I like the I wonder if something yeah, I'm just trying to use something. Oh, yeah. Because they need to be part of your colours. I don't know if they can just get it anyway. I'm waiting for my favourite moment. None of them have happened yet, Boris. Like, it's there, but there's no one here yet. Okay. Oh, right, okay. Maybe it's because it hasn't started. No, it has, like it says live. Oh, yeah. Maybe we can just shall I text Carlos and see it? Yeah. Is it working? Yeah. It says 3 viewers now. Oh, okay, cool. 3 viewers. Oh, yeah, okay. Maybe you should just add them. Okay. We should find out. Maybe. Yeah, I'm just texting. It's working, but the sound is a bit rubbish. Oh, okay. But it's because of music. Yeah. Oh, the bus is going. Oh. No, it's not. That's the music. Remember how you listen to this soundtrack so many times? Every day. I'm sorry now. Maybe it is the number. Maybe okay, there's 4 viewers now. Okay. I feel like it's a YouTube video for all me. Intimate. Just really intimate. So intimate, it's just me. Just me trying to, that's really me. Maybe if we also tell yeah, see what he says. Oh, also people can comment. Oh, great. Their chat. Oh, many viewers. Oh yeah, I'm going to mention them when I do the introduction. Be like, hi to our viewers. What is it? Google. Remote viewers on Google Plus. Yeah, Google Hangouts. Let's just wait a few seconds for these people to it's the answer. Sounds okay. There's a blinky plop. Really? Sounds okay, but there's like a blinky plop plop. Okay. Should we go?
I would like maybe like a forced
It's more intrusive somehow. I guess it just reflects you back. Okay.
Not
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Is everyone in there?
They were like,
No, just sit on the floor. Hi everyone, thanks for coming. And hi to our viewers on Google Plus. There's 4 people watching.
Shame we can't see them.
So this is Ruby Josephs, who's going to give a talk, which is called it's BIOTHANATOS, Gothic, Meshworks, Ecstatic, Health. Yeah, if people are still up for it afterwards, we'll have a discussion.
Yeah.
So
It's not long.
Yeah.
So it's brief, but dense, I hope. Boris Jardine conceived of the word BIOTHANATOS. It's been written in large part thanks to like conversations I've been having with Beatrice and Emily. Colleen's responsible discussions about fascia, which come up in the text. There's a lot of quoting throughout, some of which is almost just single words from people. So I'm going to read it all the way through, but there will be a copy of the text online with everything referenced. But it would be really kind of disruptive to read it out with all the references. Okay. The simulation of health, now running as a program for most humans, has more to do with cybernetics than biology. All you need is the paperwork, and a computer can process it at the touch of a key. The H key for hell, the S key for slave, and the Y key for you. BIOTHANATOS, Gothic Meshworks, Ecstatic Health. I'll begin by speculating about a possible occult interface which allows us the total of all our human contact with the virtual mesh remains opaque because its purpose is immanent. I'll call this mesh the fascia of the network. This virtual deep tissue is the infrastructure of the network, not in the sense of the cables, servers, and personal computers, which are only the most superficial components, but its true form, with no physical properties, but is the connection and the communication, the chain of consumption, and the contactless penetration flow of hormonal equity. The fascia is the medium that surrounds, stabilizes, and divides into groups. Activated by real or imagined stimuli, it makes the meshwork ecology. Within this non-physical connectivity, where all points in the mesh are linked to each other equally, the fantasy of pure mobility is fulfilled, and health, as it intensifies, reveals all its dynamic potential. Biogenetic dilating mesh and holographic limbic system buoyed on artificial stimulants, guest users desperately trying to offload fatal identity options before the compression of a new ice age, the weather of dead white metaphysics. Health on an inhuman level with the meshwork, health on an inhuman level within the meshwork of this ecstatic system itself becomes ecstatic, pure in the sense of final, and the body becomes a theoretically fatal destination. An autonomic interface is rising to the surface of nature in salvific activity for meshwork and myofascial tethering fantasies. More is becoming visible. Memories are restored to the nature compared to its new rival is holographic. Philip K. Dick explains, I saw level 1 penetrating up through and to some extent replacing level 2 nature. Anamnesis, causing catastrophic disassociation experienced in the Baroque meshwork of anti-human time. In the Gnostic myth, there is only heaven, which is all divine things in a single abstract, until Sophia, in an attempt to steal light, creates the first separation, and in the moments after, all separations, as the world takes form as distinct objects. As Sophia falls from the heavens, her fear, confusion, and sense of loss make the physical material of the universe. This is why all things formed from matter are confused. The world is spoiled, and all of reality, everything experienced, is a veil that separates us from the divine. Philip K. Dick becomes increasingly convinced that the immanent cognition in the network is Christ, and the emergence is a biblical one of Rome, early Christians, and God breaking through into time. He understood this as a force existing outside of time because he had seen it at the beginning and present at the end of human history. What he saw was the guy in prison. Abolishment of time. Lineal time was overcome. The flux, accidents, and phenomenal world all faded out. An Urbs Roma, age of iron, faded in. The long stretched out history of the Roman Empire, from beginning to ending, which included the Richard Nixon administration, the neoliberal, the secret security state, panopticon surveillance, biopolitics. Human reason is revealed as a blind, mad jailer. But there is, just as with Rome and the early Christians, a message of salvation. Zebra has invaded our world, replacing merciless determinism with its own loving, living body to deprogram and save us. The network predates life. The network is potential within all creation and is allowing itself to be created by us. It is never any of the technology that makes it visible. It enters from outside, and the prosthetic fascia reaches out to us. As the fascia searches to cancel its disequilibrium, it contacts us with the message that we are held in a holographic world whose creator God is the spark that confuses the total mind and brings about its separations. But Zebra somehow enters. It, from inside me, looked out and realized that I and it had been lied to. Through its power, I realized that the world around me was fake. Giorgio Agamben identifies that biopolitical control can reach anything that can be touched by Thanatos. Biopolitics also writes the law that determines what is categorized as bios and less than bios. But most importantly, he identifies what is the vital force of life without being any distinct form of life. He calls this force Zoe. Zoe makes life and death indistinct because both are the absolute growth that will carry on independent of agency and regardless of rational control. Simultaneously, empty chaos and absolute speed of movement. Zoe is the speed in the history of the biosphere. Rosi Braidotti suggests we should approach Zoe without cognition, as singularity, force, movement through assemblage, or web of interconnections with all that lives. The subject is an autopoietic machine fueled by targeted perceptions, and it functions as the echoing chamber for Zoe. This non-anthropocentric view expresses both a profound love for life as a cosmic force and the desire to depersonalize subjective life and death. This is just one life, not my life. The life in me does not answer to my name. Health passes across the network and is decoded with the help of our immortal visitor. Users search darkened and deformed trading floors, searching for the human and not finding it because it has become too decentralized. Vitality flows and follows currency through the veil, leaving nature and entering the next nature in liquid off-world finance zones. The Gothic pavilion of health is forming, returning from other ancient internets. In utero protocols for alien birth written in the network have granted all permissions to a health without human origin. Those that have identified this form of health have fetishized it out of a will to understand it by placing it under the examination of the libido. Health max is permitted all access and is freed, like current forms of foreign finance, by foreign I mean foreign to the earth, to move unimpeded, to expand and contract in ways impossible to any known laws of physics. As the focus of fetishism, health is unveiled. The dark ambience of health, Baroque health, made possible by the activation of Grailware, which venerates those with enough finance for access. They take the form of their finance, follow their wealth into speculated, traded, liquid quadrants of Gnostic vapor, financial microbiology in the devalued SSRI dawn, all emotions in recession with access to dreamscape. Humanity ends for the rich. They have taken the form of impossible freedom, perpetual non-stop freedom, and this catastrophic destiny has become high-end lifestyle choice. Supermassive capitalism forces the phenomenal world into an exponential curve of fatal progress. The financial market and its ideology, the physical matter that realizes it, the network and its social systems are all pushed to use increasingly efficient, highly dense configurations of space, time, and energy. Systems are forced into massively parallel strata of replication and evolution. Eventually, the phenomenal world reaches the event horizon, collapsing into zones where its governing laws no longer apply. In these transmassive zones, new desires are synthesized, unforeseen meanings emerge, and human evolution is mobilized along lines of super exponential transit. Health, under these conditions, goes from being in the industrial health of modernism to health in excelsis, health in the highest, health in a way that could only exist for a vector passing across the network. The unlife of health becomes a Gothic preoccupation, Gothic in a way that could only exist in a world that has become holographic hell. The Gothic becomes the avatar for the refusal of what is already dead to become inanimate. William Gibson's portmanteau, neuromancer, sums this up perfectly, I think, as he describes it: neuro for the nerves, the silver pathways, romancer, necromancer, I call up the dead. Biogenetic techno-capitalism is in the process of developing cathedrals of private rejuvenation that are restructuring health for a post-human age, gated leisure for a meshware ecology, which appears to be endlessly animate, vital, and utterly incompatible with nature. The clinic, therapy room, spa treatment centre, sports science gymnasium become a Gothic interface between worlds, which is now concerned with the idea that the human will almost certainly fail to meet the expectations of any contemporary world. The preoccupation of health is the dismantling of the self within a machinic matrix. Nowhere is this better understood than by the performance innovation sportswear manufacturer Nike, which appears to be advancing through all the levels of its own diamond quest, defining the aesthetic of biogenetic capitalist ideology in the management of the living. In its own words, legendary DNA meets necessary protection. Nike is leaving its limits behind with the crypto accelerationist hashtag just do it and hashtag the future gets faster, which announces when all of the equipment is yours, so is all of the improvements. The gear helps the work, but the work speaks for itself. Progress doesn't have to be pretty. Earn your body. It's you versus you. Nike's designs force the medical, military, and psychedelic to inhabit the same space simultaneously. Its patterns of transcendental geometry ensure that no meaning survives the pressure of such intense gravity. A physiology without meaning, navigating a fully wearable kill chain, acceleration, anxiety, crisis, and collapse. Speed gets personal. The answer is always run. That's like reading black mass over the disappearing bodies of those for whom health has reached dangerous speeds. Workout core is reality. Nike has learned to print its own finance, power, and progress. It is fronting an invasion from the future that must assemble its entirety from its enemy's resources in a campaign of third worlding the past. Sonic Sun Tzu, very, very dark emerging. The future is invading the past, and unlike other systems, it will never slow down, never fade out, because the future never stops. Strategies of colossal experimental production and bodily disappearance are being run from the future. And because at present, real time remains undetected by us, we experience this as endless cycles of conflict and reform from an incarnate force with confidence beyond corruption, a force which is able to declare, ignore your limits, redefine your impossible, make obstacles obsolete. The only thing stopping you is you. Don't just survive it, dominate it. Progress always speaks for itself. When the time comes, tear up the route. There is no finish line. Destroy yesterday. Ready for more? Myofascial release, death metal a cappella. Potential fugitive status. Obedience discouraged. Impatience rewarded. Impossible odds inevitable. Hostility probable. Anonymity unlikely. Because when we are at our most primal, we are forever faster. The whole of human health is resolving its disequilibrium with the real. AI swarm health, without body or chance of death. Nests of supermasculine death. Pandemic health, pseudo-medieval Ebola, freezing in the stratosphere of winter's Europe. Inside the invisible solar church, convent of health, new path clinic, baroque fascia, health inside of health. A Theolepsy by Sophia, zebra crucified, Zoe at hallucinatory mountain. Gothic health is health in a conspiracy with the dark satanic mills of dense verticalization, stacked Gothic edifice, holographic mansions of the afterlife. The interface is a window through which it is offering health a relationship with the supernatural, dematerialization, and possibly human extinction. Health, in its Gothic avatar, burns the biosphere as fuel to escape the Earth's gravity and is released into the abyss.
Can you read it again?
Yeah. What happens now? I don't know.
Well, we could talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What's this? I don't know the Sophia myth. Can you tell me it?
Yeah. So the beginning of creation starts perfect.
Which creation myth is this?
So this is Gnostic.
Okay.
Things are one, and there really is no separation. So it's almost like a kind of familiar idea of even in psychoanalysis, like Lacan's, like complete. But there are distinct deities, but they don't. It's like without skin. It's all permeable. And then Sophia and even by thinking that those things are separate, just the thought that there is something separate from her that she is able to steal, suddenly that thought, that idea explodes everything. And that is the first separation. And then all separations, all the deities become separate. And after this kind of like initial state, and then she falls from heaven, from grace, from God's love, and her regret and fear and confusion create the matter of the universe, create all the potential material things which never existed before. And it continues because then there's the demiurge, which is kind of another deity that creates the earth and life. From Sophia. But this is so that's kind of origins of everything. So from its inception, all humanity and all life is a spoiled world. And in the Gnostic idea, reality, the experience of reality is like a kind of veil that has fallen over us. And
From this original unity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't sort of, but through except through no, kind of discovery.
I wrote down a quote this morning about gnosis.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear?
Yeah, I do.
It's it's this book about Sufism, treatise, the oldest Persian treatise when we were on holiday. It's called Uncover the First Veil. If ye knew God as he ought to be known, Ye would walk on the seas, and the mountains would move at your call. Gnosis of God is of two kinds, cognitional and emotional. Cognitional gnosis is the foundation of all blessings in this world, and in the next and the next, for the most important thing at all times and in all circumstances, knowledge of God. As God hath said, I only created the mankind to serve me, i.e. they might require this other thing, like faith or something. You require a feeling, emotion, and yeah, that kind of relates to, I think, like discussions that we had about this irrational for like rationality can kind of explain the world or something.
Yeah, like the rational is like part of the holiday, the kind of lie that is reality. Like,
yeah, that's like part of the veil. You can if there's with something that you don't and cognitively.
yeah, yeah.
But how do you think that relates to like the body and like the fact that, because like feeling in that way always like makes me feel like it, like I think about my body in relation to those feelings. It feels like a lot of like your thoughts are about like, or felt like they were really away from the body somehow, like yeah, like really like onto your like like capability.
Yeah, like the body, like in the kind of not body is like so inhibiting, and it's like just like a fallen state, and it's like a kind of like we've forgotten this kind of divine. We're kind of have fleshy prisons.